We are at the most beautiful ranch pavilion here out in Newberry. I am joined by Walter, the owner, out here at the venue at Black Grove. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Abigail. Thank you for being here.
Of course, of course. This place has so much history and richness. It's so beautiful in here. There are so many little things from really all over the world. And you have behind us beautiful pasture with cattle. Take me to the beginning.
Well, I was born in Charleston, first of all, and we moved when I was 5. My parents were in the ice cream business and were very successful. And my dad decided he wanted to be a minister. So we sold everything and moved to Greenville. He went back to school. After 2 years, said, I want to help kids in the inner city. So we moved to Newberry, sold everything again, moved here, and my mother started a children's home in 1960 called Boys Farm. And it is now celebrating, moving into its 65th year. And they ran it until they passed away. We help kids that are in need, boys, and we've had over 1,000 boys through there over the last 65 years.
There's a mission behind it, you know, there's purpose behind it, and I think that also contributes to the incredible community here in Newberry. You've lived all over, but you chose to come back here.
Downtown Newberry is like a video or a movie set, you know.
It is.
It is gorgeous downtown.
So charming.
You learn a lot, especially if you're exposed to all different aspects of society, which we were there growing up. But when I was 13, I saved all my money working that I had, and I bought my first registered Black Angus cow. And we kept her, and then from there I bought more. I always saved whatever money I had, and over the next 3 years, I picked up a few more. So finally, he said, we can't have those animals here. We don't have any place for them, can't afford to have them around. I said, I understand. So a county agent who had helped me in the 4-H business said, there's a farm on the other side of town where the gentleman retired from the Air Force, bought a few cows, 10 cows, and they were Black Angus cows, but he died of a heart attack. And he said, let's go visit his wife. So we did. And at 14, I leased, through her good natured and a commitment with me, I leased this place, and she charged me $100 a year. The quid pro quo was she had a 7-year-old son. Dad had died, and she said, I need a man in his life, and she said, would you be Tommy's big brother? And I said, yep. So fast forward 2 years later, she decides she needs to move into town. I said, but you didn't offer me a chance to buy it. She said, you're 16, you can't buy anything. I said, yes, I can, but you don't know I can. So we got in this tit for tat. She said, okay, if you can get the money in 4 days and get a bank to finance it, I said, I would sell it to you. I had a business plan on how I could pay for it. So I told my dad, just take me to the bank. And he said, I just don't want you to be disappointed. I said, I'm not gonna be disappointed. He said, but you're 16. And he said, how do you think you're gonna pay for it? I said, here's how. And I showed him a business plan where I was able to make the payments.
Wow.
And I actually got a loan from a banker to buy the old house and 44 acres. And that's how Black Grove started.
So amazing. What a life you have had. And you're getting to bring all of your stories and all of your history and putting it here in this space. So for people who have never been out here, tell me some of the characteristics, those little things in here that make this place really special.
We have 2 gorgeous bars that also have a counter behind them. One of them's about 16 feet, the other one's 13 feet. And all 4 pieces of that wood came out of the same giant oak tree.
Wow.
It's absolutely beautiful. All of our paneling came off of the ranch here. It's all pecan wood. You know, it's more than just about the land, it's also about the journey. And we take the approach that we want to leave the place in better shape than it was when we bought it and when we had it. And we were fortunate to have successful corporate careers, so we continued to buy land forward. And so we started with 44 acres, and we run cattle on about 400 acres now.
It's beautiful here. You know, this space you said holds about 200 people, but if you open the doors, it's a party.
Yeah.
Anybody can come, so there's really no maximum capacity there. Little things to make it really easy for the bride and groom as well. There's a get-ready room for the brides and the bridesmaids. There's a little kitchen, and I also want to talk about your cattle or ranch to table. You guys use your own Angus beef for some of the food for the weddings here. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we can make it available if they're desirous of it, and if it isn't too big a crowd, because we only process about 2 steers a month. And what that means is we take calves from our registered cattle. We're part of the American Angus Association. It's the largest cattle association in the world for any and all breeds. And we register more cows every year than all the other breeds in the world do every year.
Wow.
So it's the dominant breed of cattle. So we're very proud that ours come out of nothing but registered cows. And you may say, well, what's the big difference? We know who the mother and daddy is all the way back to the 1800s. Okay, we have the biggest database in the world in the cattle industry.
Putting in the work to create longevity for these animals, and then of course, obviously turning it into beef at the end of its life. Who helped you kind of make this space what it is today?
Well, you know, I don't really like the term it takes a village, but it takes friends and family. We had long contractors, dear friend, good friend, Blair Long, whose dad had helped build the flower houses at Boys Farm when I was 11 to 13 years old.
It all comes back to the mission behind it.
So we had Blair, and then I introduced you today to my finish carpenter, the Schaus family. And I have to say the Schaus family because this is 3rd generation.
Wow.
They're some of the best finish contractors and finish carpenters in the country, best cabinet makers. I've known all 3 generations.
You could have a beautiful wedding ceremony out here, but it also could be a venue for business, you know, parties, quinceañeras, bridal showers, all sorts of things. This isn't just a wedding venue.
No, it certainly isn't. It's an event center, and that's more inclusive, and it can be for birthdays.
Why would you tell a prospective bride and groom that this is the place that they should be having their wedding?
Well, I'll answer that with an experience we had here. So, you know, we obviously are tied to the community, and we want to be in all kinds of ways. So the Chamber of Commerce said we want to have an open house. So we had a little reception here, and people came. We had over 100 people here. I asked everybody in the room, I said, how many of y'all have ever been to Montana, or to the Dakotas, or to Wyoming, or to the cattle country in Nebraska? And out of that 100+ people, only 5 hands went up. And I said, if you never get to go personally and visit it, you've been there now. When we left Miami, all my people kidded me, my friends and business people kidded me about coming to a small town in South Carolina, and I tell them a couple of things. I said, first of all, I'm from a special small town. It's one of the top 50 in the South and top 100 in the country, and it's unique. Come see us, and you can go see downtown Newberry. Stay downtown. We have great restaurants. Stay with us, eat with us. Come visit us at the venue and take home a box of registered Black Angus beef.
Fantastic. Thank you, Walter.
Thank you.